I put my hand on it and I opened the door. I took one foot inside the door. My other foot was on the porch. He jumped into my arms because he was 4. He hadn't seen me either. And I just held him and I closed the door behind him and I took him home with me.
This case is one emotional roller coaster. A mother accused of breaking into her own marital home just to hug her son after 40 days apart. The courtroom is divided. Was this a crime or a desperate act of love? The judge himself seems torn, struggling to balance the law against the heartbreak unfolding before him. On one hand, there's the legal line of trespass. On the other, a mother's instinct to protect and connect. As the testimony unfolds, keep your eyes on the judge's reactions, because this case raises a powerful question. When love defies the law, who's really guilty?
Put it on the record to get you to plead guilty.
No.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you?
No.
You're doing this voluntarily and of your own free will?
Yes.
And because you believe that you're guilty of this offense?
Yes.
December 20th, 2021, at the location of 9535 Chubb Road, Salem Township, Washington County, State of Michigan. What'd you do on that date that makes you think that you're guilty?
I was going there to pick my son up, who I hadn't seen in 40 days. And they were trying to keep him from me. So I walked up to the front door. My son saw me through the window and ran to me. And as he got closer to the door, I put my hand on it and I opened the door. I took one foot inside the door. My other foot was on the porch. He jumped into my arms because he was 4. He hadn't seen me either. And I just held him and I closed the door behind him and I took him home with me. But I understand that I shouldn't have entered the home. So.
All right. And you didn't have anybody's permission to enter the home, is that correct?
Right. No, I did not.
Let me ask you this. Are you a custodial parent?
Oh, yes. We were still married, so I had been trying to get him back, and it was considered a civil matter, and there was nothing anybody would do to help me at that time. Divorce was filed after that, and since then, now we have a custody arrangement, which I have custody. So, yeah.
Okay, so
We were married and there was no custody arrangement at the time, which allowed him to do whatever he wanted and not let me see my son.
all right. So, all right, let me just ask this question, and far be it from me, I really don't want to be a family court judge. Just don't want to be that. But was there a parenting time relationship at the time that this occurred?
No, we were married. We were separated.
Your Honor, there was no court or no.
Pardon?
There was no court order at that time for parenting time.
What's happening here is legally fascinating and emotionally complex. The judge is trying to untangle ownership, marriage rights, and custody status all at once. Even though the defendant was still legally married, the key question is who actually had legal possession of the home. Since the house belonged to the husband's parents, her marital rights didn't automatically give her access, especially if she'd been evicted. But here's where it gets messy. Family law often clashes with property law. A parent's emotional bond doesn't translate to legal permission. What do you think, though? Should a mother really face criminal charges for stepping 1 foot into a home that once was hers just to hold her child? Comment below with your take.
Okay, I guess what I'm trying to figure out, counsel, is if there's a child between okay, let me ask this. Ma'am, how far in the house did you go?
I had 1 foot in the front door and 1 foot on the porch. And that was just, he was running towards me. And when I opened the door as he came close, I hadn't seen him and I hadn't spoken to him or seen him in 40 days. So it was like an excitement to finally see him. I stepped
All
1 foot in kind of just for stability. He literally jumped in my arms. And then I closed the door behind him and I just took him home with me. I should have. I called the police on my way there. I explained the situation. I told them I just want to see my son. I just want to make sure he's okay. And they were going to meet me there, but I should have waited. Ideally, yeah, so that's why I'm saying I am guilty. I did go in the door when I should not have. But mother's instinct, I needed to see my son.
Can I ask a question? And because I'm trying to figure out the home, was there a marital home between the two of you?
That was our marital home.
Okay, then
But we were
got a
separated,
problem,
so I had
folks.
left.
Hold it. It's just hold on, ma'am. I got a problem, folks. I don't know how an individual is legally married to somebody. That is the marital home. Quite frankly, other than what may have been going on in her relationship, I don't know how she can illegally enter her own home. She has an indivisible right to those premises.
Your Honor, she was evicted from the residence in January 2020.
Evicted?
Correct.
Your Honor, questions.
Evicted. I don't know what that means. I mean,
Your Honor, if I can ask a couple of questions, fine. I think of the defendant, I think maybe I can shed some light on this.
okay.
Ms. Stamper, on that day, had you been evicted from the residence by the owner of the
Yes,
all right, and who was the owner of the home?
my husband's parents.
Okay, so the home was not owned by either you or your husband, correct?
Right.
Okay, and you had been evicted at the time that this occurred, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you did not.
Folks, I mean, here's going to be my problem. If they're married, the tenancy interest, does he have a tenancy in the premises?
That's hard to say. We were both evicted, but then he moved back in because it's his parents' home.
Yeah, so they were both evicted from the home. The divorce proceeding started in 2019. The eviction was in 2020. So yes, they were both out of the home, and then it appears his parents allowed him to move back to the home. There were some issues prior to this incident where it's alleged that the defendant was coming to the home and knocking on the windows and possibly banging on the doors to see her son. So there was other issues before this. So she had no permission to be on the property or in the residence.
Okay. And so if the divorce had been filed prior to this incident, there was no custodial arrangement?
Correct. There was no family court agreement at that point, but there was divorce proceedings already starting.
All right. Very iffy to me, but counsel, have I complied with the court rule?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, you have, Your Honor.
Regrettably, and with some great reluctance, court will accept the defendant's plea of guilty to this charge. Defendant is referred to probation for a pre-sentence investigation and report. Sentencing in this matter will be
Sentencing is June 14th.
June 14th, 2023. 9 a.m.
So, here's where it all lands. The court accepted her guilty plea for entering the residence without permission, even though her motive was purely emotional, not criminal. The case now hits the sentencing, where the judge's empathy might influence the outcome. Legally, this was a trespass. But ethically, it's the story of a mother torn between court orders and her child's embrace. A vivid example of how family and criminal law can collide in heartbreaking ways. What's your verdict? Should love ever be treated as a crime? If you found this case as gripping as we did, don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more real-life courtroom breakdowns that reveal the human side of justice.